All right, this is A18, and I'm doing number 9, and it's negative 3 1/10 minus negative 5 4/10. So first thing I'm going to do, right, is go find this number here on the number line. So there's negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. So I'm going to go down one tick from there, and that's going to put me right there. Can we see that? No, I don't have a very good stylus is the issue. There we go. Negative 3 1/10. And now I'm going to come and I'm going to subtract from that a negative. So that means this here, right, this first subtraction tells me I'm going to go down from there. But then I have another subtraction which says, hold on, put it in reverse. Now we're going to go up 5 4/10. So let's go ahead. So what really happens, right, is this becomes negative 3 1/10 minus negative 5 4/10. So I'm going to rewrite this as an addition problem. And when I do that, let's get a little bit fatter pen here, I'm going to get the color I want. I'm going to change both these, these signs. So let's go ahead. So it's almost as if this one here flips across and goes over to here, right? So let's go ahead and make that happen. So that becomes plus and that becomes plus. And now I'm back to my standard addition problem, right? So I know without doing anything that my answer, right, is going to be, that's an ugly one. Let's redo that one here. Why did you undo everything that I didn't want you to undo? What happened here? Hold on. So moving on, right? We know that our answer has to be positive because the bigger number here is positive. So let's do that first. Let's make that a plus sign. So we know our answer is positive. And now we see, remember this is just a review of the addition, right? Since the signs are different, we actually subtract their absolute values. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And we're going to have the absolute value of negative, well, I guess now it's positive, right? Positive 5.4. And from that, we're going to subtract the absolute value of negative 3.1. Right? And that's going to give us 5 4/10 minus, and then the absolute value of negative 3 1/10 is positive 3 1/10. So there we go. And now we simply subtract. So we line up our decimal places. 4 minus 1, that's doable, that's 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So our answer is 2 3/10. And if we come over here and we look at the number line, right? So we were down here at, right, negative 3 1/10. So let me go ahead and grab a pen here, make it really skinny. So I'm here at negative 3 1/10. I go up 1, right, and I'm at negative 2 1/10. I go up another 1, right, so this distance here is 1, is 1. I go up another one to negative 1 1/10, right, and this distance is plus another 1. So now we've added 2 to that, and now we go up yet another 1, and that's going to put me, right, just below that 0 line, right here at negative 1/10. That's another 1. And then just below the 1, right, that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, just below the 1, but just below the 2, I'm sorry. That's going to put us at 1, 2, 3, 4, right there, right? That's going to put us at plus 5, and then I go up 1, 2, 3, 4, and that puts me right there. And of course, that is at 2 3/10, just like we said. All right, so that finishes off that problem for us. And I think what I'll probably ask you on this one is when I subtract a negative, it's the same thing as adding what? And you would tell me when you subtract a negative, right? Subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding a positive. All right, guys, that finishes the first one. We're ready to move on to the next one. All right, guys, this is the second one. So it's number 19. It says evaluate for A is equal to -4 and B is equal to 3. And I have A minus the opposite of B. So let's go ahead. The first thing I'm going to do when I evaluate is I'm going to substitute, right? Put in my values, right? Just like evaluate says, put in values. So let's go ahead and do that. So where I have A, right, I guess I will put that -4. And then I have minus the opposite, and then I know the value of B is 3. So there we go, in all those pretty colors, and there we are. So let's go ahead and go over to our number line, right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to -4, and so let's go ahead and find -4 on our number line. Well, there's -4 right there. Okay, and then the opposite, right? The opposite tells us we're going to go down from there. But then I have minus, right, the opposite. So that says, wait a second, go minus, but now it's minus the opposite. So that tells me I'm going to go the opposite direction that the sign told me. So I'm going to go up 3 this time. Okay, so another way of thinking about that, right, is we're going to rewrite this as an addition problem. So that's going to give us -4, and we have, you know, our what we had before, minus a -3. Okay, so this tells us once again that we're going to change both signs. So when we change both signs, right, this is going to end up being a plus, a positive. So from -4, right, I'm going to go ahead and go up 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to end up at, here at -1, right? I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3. So there I am at -1. So when I do that in terms of the equation that I have right here, I'm going to do it in terms of the equation. I look and I see, okay, my signs are different, right? And the absolute value of the negative number is greater than the absolute value of the positive. Therefore, I know my answer must, in fact, be negative, right? I know my answer is negative. And now, since the signs, in fact, are different, one is negative and one is positive, I subtract their absolute values, right? And that's going to give me the absolute value of -4 minus the absolute value of 3, right? Which, of course, gives us 4 minus 3. And so our answer is -1, right? We took care of the sign way up here. All right, so this one wasn't so bad. You know, we evaluated, which means we had to, you know, give our variables, that's not what I wanted. We had to give our variables, right, a value. We put in their value, you know. We could either do it via the number line, right, or we could do it by saying, you know, I have the opposite of an opposite, so I'm going to take the opposite of both my signs, in which case I ended up with I rewrote it as an addition problem, right? I take the sign of the number that has the greater absolute value, so the greater absolute value is negative, so I knew my answer was negative. I subtract their absolute values, and I get -1. All right, so I imagine on this one, what I'll ask you for extra credit is, you know, to redraw the number line. So I may just give you this equation right here, and I'll ask you to redraw this number line portion here. And then your extra credit is, you know, oh, here, let's go ahead and get a pen color. Your extra credit is it's only Monday. All right, guys, that's it. I'll see you in class tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.